very much for being here. If you just joined us or you're still with us, this is still Enterprise Morning, reaching you from Enterprise Television. Let's get to our conversation for today. The federal government of Nigeria has approved a 50% increase in telephone service tariffs, the first hike in 12 years, as announced by the Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC). This decision follows 2 years of telecom operators' demand for tariff review due to economic challenges such as naira devaluation, forex instability, vandalism, theft, and insecurity affecting their operations and expansion. The NCC, under its authority from the Nigerian Communication Act of 2003, stated that adjustment kept at 50% is lower than the over 100% requested by some operators. This decision considers ongoing industrial reforms aimed at ensuring sustainability. The tariff adjustment will adhere to the 2013 NCC cost study guidelines, with reviews handled on a case-by-case basis following the NCC's tariff simplification guidance of 2024. Despite a static rate since 2013, rising operational costs necessitated the approved increase to bridge the gap between cost and current tariffs. These changes are expected to enable operators to invest in infrastructure and innovation, enhancing service delivery, network quality, customer service, and coverage, ultimately benefiting consumers with improved connectivity. I am honored to have with me virtually Dr. Victor Ohai, a public affairs analyst. Thank you so very much. Thank you, sir, for being here. We truly do appreciate you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. So let's get to the crux of the matter. And of course, it's on the long-awaited tariff increase by telcos. What's your take on that particular matter?
Well, I think if we look at the economy generally, the devaluation of the naira, and the rising, with also the petroleum, the high cost of petrol and fuel energy, which is at the very, how do I put it now, the very heart of the operations of these telecom companies, and you know that it is actually overdue. It's the conditions for doing business in this country is really very harsh at the moment. A lot of their components are foreign exchange related, and so they're bringing spare parts in, bringing parts in, building base stations, all that. So all that is very expensive. So everybody else has raised prices in the country. So it's inevitable that it will come to the telcos as well. And you may or may not be aware, but there's a particular one of the GSM companies is struggling, really struggling. Many of their customers may not even be aware. You get a lot of outages, base stations are not being run properly because of lack of diesel and things like that. So the struggle is real. And if you like, as we say, the hustle is real. So it was inevitable. So they need to do that. But the sad part of it all is that, we need more internet penetration in this country, and the higher cost might have its own implication, on this penetration, particularly to help us grow, because that's one low-hanging fruit for many of our young people. We have a very young population. So that is one area that would have helped a lot of our young people who are doing positive work in that space. So if it becomes more expensive, then it becomes a bit of a challenge, But nevertheless, we'll just see how things unfold. But that's the reality of the situation.
All right, thank you so very much. Doctor, you would agree with me that Nigeria has the highest mobile phone penetration rate in Africa, and currently standing at 85%, with over 200 million people. We're looking at between 180 to 190 million people, of course, logged into the telecom services of all sorts. But looking at cost leadership strategy, which is, of course, an advantage for a population. When you have a larger population, ultimately costs should come down. Do you think it still makes a sense for us to have a 50% increase in tariff, looking at our population, that makes it even more easier for profit margins?
I talked about the internet penetration level. I said it's not enough yet. Many more people need to be in that space. I mean, we have tried as a country. The number of internet users in this country is more than the population of some countries. So obviously, you might say, yes, we've done well. If you're talking about the numbers and it coming down, it still doesn't negate the actual cost of production of the service for them. It's diesel is rising every day. These are fixed costs. There's nothing they can do about it. Whether you phone, you don't phone, diesel price is going up every day. The cost of forex is also not smiling. There's so many things they are buying. Everybody they are buying from, the price is going up. So it doesn't make sense to just say because of numbers, you cannot review your prices. Yes, I agree that we have numbers here and they should give us some sort of advantage. But the reality, I told you about a company that is struggling. I don't want to mention their name. That's the reason why. They are struggling. So the hustle is real. The struggle is real. One of them in particular, I know, is almost going under. It's almost going under. So you just say that the problem is real. They are struggling. They're struggling. So the numbers has nothing to do with the reality on the ground.
But we all know the responsibility, the basic responsibility of government is security and welfare of its people. In order to climb, government of the day would find subsidies that would make it easier for companies to operate such that it wouldn't reflect on the lives of their citizenry. Don't you think it would have been better that government had intervened in this particular matter to save Nigerians the cost that they have? Of course, is coming to them in trenches.
Well, they requested for 100% increase. Government, through the regulator NCC, said they would approve 50. So you might say that is an intervention. Other forms of intervention include tariffs. For instance, you might decide to say, okay, look, you will subsidize diesel and energy for them, but government is not doing that.
Of course.
You might decide to say, okay, they can bring in their spare parts free of charge. But these are companies that make a lot of money as well. I think last year, I may be wrong, but I don't know if I'm right, but it's like MTN posted a huge loss. Like I said, please, some that needs to be fact checked, but
yeah,
I think so.
Yeah,
I read something.
Yes. Very well, they did.
Yes. So they posted a huge loss. So these things are real. You can't be talking about. They are private businesses, so they are not charities. If not for the regulators, I'm sure the price would have gone sky high a long time ago. So it is what it is.
But is it possible? I know too well that before now, the first time we had penetration of telecom companies started from MTN, which felt that they could get their way as much as they could until Glo came on board and liberalized the market to make it easier for people to do per second billings. Do you think there could be a new entry into the market that might open the floodgates to Nigerians to understand that they might be paying so much as against other countries like Algeria, Mauritius, that are paying far lesser than what we're doing currently?
It will be difficult at this stage, and I'll tell you why, unless they have very, very deep pocket. Look, these other guys are entrenched across the country. For anybody to come in new now, well, they may not build base stations, they may just hook up to existing base stations, just piggyback on them, but they have to have a very deep pocket to go and make any form of impact. It's going to be difficult. Where I would expect government to really give more licenses now is in the area of data. I don't think making phone calls is a problem. Maybe the less we talk, maybe the better for us, But data, I mean, even WhatsApp calls are on data. So most calls are these days even on data. So if they can bring in if there's more competition in the area of data and then more fiber optics, then it would help. Recall that there's MTEL and struggled and struggled. I don't know if it's still existing.
No, it's not.
You know, so, huh?
It is not. It's not in existence.
So it's not an easy space. It's not an easy space. Even for those who are there right now, they're struggling. Yes, their money may look like how do I put it? The money they make may look like, as we say, pure water, but even that water has a cost. Even pure water now costs money. So,
very true. But doctor, let's look at the side effects of some of these things. As small as they might seem, 50% means that if on a monthly basis you do 5,000 naira, for example, on a monthly basis, it means it won't be 5,000 naira any longer. We're looking at an upward of 7,500 naira. And so it would continue. But let's take a look at the side effects of some of these things. Yes.
Well, it could also mean people should learn to make only important calls.
Really?
I mean, that's why people just sit down. They don't even have any reason. They just sit on call, talk and talk and talk and talk.
But
haven't you seen that?
But don't you think that is economically? Don't you think that is of an advantage? Because no one should restrict what you say.
Every call.
Yes.
It's time we start making our calls profitable. Call only when you know that it's a profitable call. Not I just say make I call you. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. When you sit down, you have finished what you're talking about. Naim, have you heard? Then you begin to talk politics online and things that don't make sense at all. Just get there, say what you want to say to the point, and cut off, and you will still be within budget.
And you think that would add to? Do you think that in any way, as minute as it might seem, do you think that would in any way help the most important thing that we're talking about? Because this is sounding like our president that said his friends that had Rolls Royce had to leave it to drive Honda. Does it make any economic sense that people should be restricted to speaking for a little amount of time as opposed to, speaking as much as they want to, because they have disposable
speaking
income?
As what? Talking about what now?
Disposable income.
I mean, between you and I, let's look at
yes.
it. I just called to say hello.
Yes.
So how are you? So how is everything? I will just keep saying, how are you? How is everything? And have you heard that? And then people begin to gossip on the phone and all that. Doesn't make sense to you. What about a call like, look, hey, morning, how are you? Even if it's just to say hello, I just thought to check up on you. I hope you and the family are doing well. Great. Say hello to everyone. Bye. Still the same thing. But you see that it's okay. So how is the weather? So how is that? You begin to talk about things that don't make sense. How does it sound to you? You can be more disciplined online. But if you have enough money to waste, it's okay. It's good for the shareholders of the companies.
But of course, let's take a look at it from the basis of small, medium-sized businesses in Nigeria that depend on these services. What do you think could be the little side effect? They might be so very minute, but do you think there could be a side effect that would scale towards Nigeria?
Data is the only area I'm worried about.
Okay.
Because a lot of small businesses use data, depend on data. Even the calls are on WhatsApp. Do you understand what I'm saying? Which is data driven. So I think that data is the area we should be looking at, and we hope that it would, because data costs money as well. So we're hoping that data would be, if anything can be done about data, or more companies can come and price can come down, then the better for us. But if it's just talking, that's why people on WhatsApp talking endlessly, So for small businesses, I worry because the cost of data, when it goes up, it could have an impact on their businesses. But I mean, for YouTubers, for instance, people will not be able to watch as much YouTube videos as they used to. For example. So it would have its impact, but nevertheless, we'll focus on only the things that are important to us. Have you not observed that people go to YouTube? They just keep playing videos endlessly. Even the ones that don't mean anything to them, just killing time.
Yes, because there's a service
but
right
you'll be
now.
More disciplined
Yes,
now.
yes, sir. But there's a service right now. There is a business model right now that states that the more you watch, you get paid for the time that you watch. So don't you think all of these things add to?
No. You have to subscribe. You have to subscribe to a service like that, and it's not just watching anything. There are certain things you must watch. And do you know any human being between you and I who is enjoying that money right now? Tell me one. Be honest. You call it a business model. How many people are in it? Do you know one single human being that is making money from it? Because if you do, you'll be making money from it too. Do you know anybody?
It could be at its moment of inertia. It might still be growing.
No, the answer is no. You don't know anybody in that space right now. Let's not kid or deceive ourselves.
Yes.
Okay. So that is not an argument.
All right. Just before I let you go on this particular matter, you talked about MTN, for example, of course, declaring losses. And I have it authoritatively here that they declared 392.69 billion naira loss in Q1 of 2024. So do you think that
Q1, quarter one?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, 392.69 billion naira. That was the loss they actually
and you
declared.
said they should
huge.
They should not increase. If they go, do you know how many people will lose businesses? Eh? You know how many people depend on them? If those companies close down, recharge card sellers, even the banks, their profits will go down because they sell recharge cards too. You know how many companies will go down with them?
And do we think the 50% hike will solve a little bit of that? Because this loss is too much, really.
Yeah, it is. You can't be increasing everything and say they should not increase. Now, it doesn't make sense. I mean, let's be pragmatic in our assessment of the situation.
Very, very true. All right, that's just about the time we have. I'd love to say thank you to Dr. Victor Hai for being here with us, and of course, seeing through all that we had to talk about today. People, it's about the time we have, like I did say, and we have to leave it at that. But please do well to visit us. You can always find and reach us at enterprisetvnews.com. You may like, comment, and follow us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. I am Henry Gwebike. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.